Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back, 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 welcome back. That's how I'm feeling, y'all. Oh my gosh. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Y'all see that I am coming back all tan and nice and brown, nice and cinnamon. Oh gosh, y'all, the honeymoon was amazing. For those of you who don't know, I got to update y'all because y'all know how I like to say at the beginning of the videos, for the people who are here on the live, the people who are here early, we friends here. So let me go ahead and tell y'all what has happened, okay? So April 9th, your girl got married. My maiden name will remain on YouTube. It's still Necey Dixon on YouTube, okay? The wedding was amazing. Bondi was there. The other girls were there in spirit. I had a bunch of y'all saying thank you. So thank y'all so much for a cash app, a comment, whatever it was, y'all. It was just amazing. I felt so much love around me. It was just like a whole bubble of just bliss. It was amazing. So right after that, April 9th was the wedding. And then April 12th, we went to Cancun. Cancun was excellent. Okay. We stayed at Excellence Cancun. If y'all have plans to go to Mexico, they got a couple different locations, but Excellence Cancun was top tier. And low key, I feel like I should just, once I get back more footage and pictures and stuff like that, I just want to talk to y'all through like everything that happened over the past 2 weeks. Or yeah, the 2 weeks that I was gone, almost 3. It was pretty fire. But as far as reality TV, y'all, I really ain't missed a thing. It doesn't seem like I really missed a thing at all. But let me read through some of y'all comments, and I do want to take just a couple minutes to check in and actually talk to y'all before we get into these reviews, because I posted on my YouTube stories. If y'all don't watch YouTube stories, y'all should. I mean, I try to post stuff on there sometimes. I was watching Karen's Granddaughter family reunion, which is a 2-part special. A lot of y'all didn't even know that it was coming on, but I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts on that because it's literally gonna take like 30 seconds before we hop into the other reviews. So yeah, let me go ahead and say hello, Shantia. She said, "Hope you had an amazing honeymoon, girl. You was killing me talking about don't burn down Mexico." Greta, Sierra, hey Monique, Queen Paradise, Shayla, Sam J, hey babe. Yeah, Berta, Ayana, damn. I haven't seen y'all's names in weeks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, finally. J Dub, the #1 commenter. You still been cranking out them videos because I seen them while I was gone. But yeah, I do want to share more stuff with y'all about the actual day because it was just it was amazing. It was amazing. Okay. So let's talk about, it's not in the title of the video, but I just want to get this off my chest. And I want to know if some of y'all have watched. So Karen's Grandam family reunion. Somebody in the comments, let me know if you tuned in to the first episode that premiered on Sunday. And if you did, y'all need to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, okay, on my DJ Richie Sky, on a scale of 1 to 10, what did y'all think about Karen's Grandam? This comment right here is the one for me. Kimberly, she said, Karen could have did that on IG Live. Y'all are so sweet. Jay Antoinette. Yeah. Y'all, honestly, for me, if I had to scale the show on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a straight, I'm going to say a 5. Monique, that 3.5 is kind of close. The only reason why I'm going to say a 5 is because it just wasn't terrible. It was like when you go to a restaurant and you eat some food and it tastes like nothing. You leave feeling full for 5 minutes And then when you get home, you like, damn, I'm hungry again. Kind of like when you go to CC's buffet. That's how I be feeling sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I'm craving some spinach pizza from CC's. And then after not eating at a buffet for so long, I go and I binge. And then when I come home, I'm like, damn, it wasn't even hitting like that. Karen's Granddaughter family reunion was giving CC's pizza. Okay. And that's just it for me. It was giving fast, filling for a temporary moment, and that was it. Okay. So, y'all, I'm not going to recap the entire thing. But for those of you who didn't watch it, I watched it, so you didn't have to. So let me go ahead and tell you what happened. Karen goes back to Surrey County. Raven, her daughter, is there. Her son Brandon can't go. So her, Raven, they go to Surrey County. She ends up getting a house 40 minutes away from Surrey in a place called Henrico. When they go there, we meet her family. Her Aunt Val, who's the same age as her, owns the farm. So that's when Aunt Val's children comes to her. They come to Karen and they say, hey, we want you to have a conversation with our mother about the succession of the farm, because what's going to happen in the future? We need to make sure we have ownership of our farm, right? That's pretty much it. So the entire episode is, Karen, when are you going to talk to Aunt Val about ownership? Karen, when are you going to talk to Aunt Val? The entire episode is, when are you going to talk to Aunt Val? And Sierra, she said Raven needs some black friends. I don't know if it's that Raven needs some black friends, but Raven needs a new foundation color. Raven needs a new foundation color. That's all I gotta say. Now, it wasn't giving. I watched the whole thing. I even took notes, but I didn't have that many notes. And I was like, is this really worth an individual video? No, it probably is something that will remain on stories. So it's only 2 episodes, so it's really no big deal. So this week I posted it on my YouTube stories. I could start posting on my Instagram stories if y'all are over there as well, but I'm glad it's only 2 episodes, okay? So that's all I got for Karen's Granddaughter family reunion. Y'all ain't missed a thing, okay? So as far as these other reviews, the other shows that we are going to discuss today are the rest of the shows on OWN that I missed over the weekend and the previous week. So I'm not going to recap the 2 episodes ago. I'm going to recap the most recent episode, okay? And if necessary, I'll sprinkle in my thoughts if it's something important that happened that I didn't get to. So for today, we will talk about Put a Ring on It. But don't worry, because I know a lot of y'all don't be here for Put a Ring on It. So hold your horses, okay? Hold your horses. I'm not reviewing Put a Ring on It in its entirety, because y'all know nothing really happened on that show besides these shenanigans that went down, okay? And y'all excuse my little dog cage in the back. I'm moving it, but I wasn't prepared all the way to film today. But nothing happened on Put a Ring on It, really, besides this. So I'll talk real quick about the other couples. Then once we go from Put a Ring on It, y'all know it's the build-up. We get to Ready to Love. Then once we get to Ready to Love, that's whenever we get to Love and Marriage Huntsville. And y'all, when I say that we have something in store for y'all, another interview, I'm not going to tell y'all who, but when I say that we have something in store for y'all coming up over the next week, be on the lookout, okay? Especially the members, okay? I'm not going to say just yet, but what they be saying, they say, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Oh, hey, Bondi. Bondi came just in time. She didn't miss nothing. And I was just hyping, our friends up about what we have coming pretty soon. So on Thursday, we'll post the announcement and y'all will see what we have in store. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into Put a Ring on It. Let me go ahead and pull my notes, y'all. Put a Ring on It. Honestly, y'all, I love Dr. Nicole, but I hope that this is the last season of this show. And I wonder if some of y'all are feeling the same way. I feel like we have essentially watched the same season 3 times over. Y'all try to cast the same people. Missed y'all, missed y'all, missed y'all, missed y'all. Y'all try to cast the same people, and these couples have the same issues. And y'all, since I haven't talked to y'all for a while, I really feel like I'm about to ramble. On another note, maybe a whole separate video, can we talk about these other networks picking up on a lot of the same themes that's going on in the Black shows? Like The Ultimatum on Netflix. I watched it. We can talk about it. And then Bravo is coming out with more shows of like full Black cast, which I'm not upset at it, right? Love to see more Black people on our screens, because that's the type of reality TV that I like to watch, right? Occasionally I watch The Bachelor and see what they're doing over there. But I'm like, can we talk about it? Are they taking a bite out of what is going on? It just really feels like they are. I think they know that like Black people are extremely profitable when it comes to reality TV. They found a formula that's been working for all, so now they want to use it for their white audiences. So anyway, back to Put a Ring on it, y'all. The show, to me, I'm kind of bored with it. And I don't want to keep telling y'all that I'm bored, because that's the second show that I've gotten to that I told y'all that I'm bored about. But that's the reality, okay? It's not just because I didn't came back from Mexico and now I'm in like a regular life, okay? Karen's Grand Dame show was not giving, okay? And y'all agree with me. Put a Ring on it. Heard it all before. We done heard it before. We've seen it before. So I'm kind of just like, damn, I really didn't miss nothing while I was gone. So, all right, Put a Ring on it. This episode, they are tasked. And if one of y'all can comment time markers for the lovely people who will be watching this on playback, I would greatly appreciate it. Just comment it at the bottom of this video. So, anyway, and I'm going to get into that. Shantia said, it's just not giving or just the same. Y'all tell me this. Why does it feel like for the past 3 seasons of Put a Ring on it, they keep pulling up to the same neighborhood? Why do the houses look the exact same? The house that Shay and Fonzo live in is giving very much Eric and Jessica's house. Y'all remember Eric and Jessica? I think they had the Bentley too. They had a Bentley, and I was like, they must live somewhere where the location is great, because that Bentley, they had a nice home, okay? They had a nice home, don't get me wrong. But the Bentley that was parked outside of the home didn't seem like it belonged at that house. Somebody said Airbnb. Yeah, J-Dub, Airbnb. That's what it's giving. But then I'm also confused because like it looks like they live there. All their clothes are there. They keep pulling up to the same place. Hey, Jamie. And that's why I'm kind of like, this is literally copy paste from the same seasons over and over again. And somebody else in the comments said that they need to go to a different city. There's so many. Just do what they did on Ready to Love. Y'all went to one chocolate city. Y'all went to Atlanta. Now go on up to DC where there's more Black people. Like, I just need a different formula. Okay. And like I said, from the last season that I reviewed this show, I feel like one of the things they need to do is make these MFers get married at the end of it. Let the MFers get married at the end of it. And then we'll stop having so many clowns and so many people who aren't truly ready to make a decision come on the show. Okay? Season after season after season, you get the people on the show who don't come there with the intentions to ever leave their relationship. They come there with the intentions of forcing their partner to want to marry them. And I'm just like, what are you here for? What are you here for? Kind of like when Dr. Nicole said to Shay. Shay said, you know, when I see him with other women, it just makes me feel like, so this is what you be on, and it makes me want to leave. And Dr. Nicole said to her, well, you have a choice. And I just cackled because I'm like, period. You have a choice. But you don't want to hear that. You came here to try to force this man to want to marry you. And sometimes that's just not the case. That's the only good thing about the ultimatum, but we're not gonna talk about it, okay? So let's talk a little bit about Otis and Charlie. We'll talk there. Otis is very much giving Otis, okay? He wants a traditional relationship. I done told y'all the first time I reviewed this, stop naming these babies after they uncles and they pappies, okay? I cannot imagine holding a 3-month-old Otis, okay? I can't imagine it. Otis sound like he needs to be in a doo-wop group. Stop it, okay? So, Otis and Charlie. Otis is hard-headed. He doesn't like the feedback that he's getting from Dr. Nicole. So he's sitting there being very passive in a disrespectful way. Okay, yeah, whatever. And what they both decide to do is go on a second date. So he goes on a second date with a girl named Milan. And to me, I feel like Milan kind of looks like Coi Leray. I feel like it's something about her features. She looks young, but in a really nice way. I think she looks like Coi Leray. And then Charlie goes on a date with another guy. I believe his name is like Benjamin or something like that. She was impressed by his intellect and how driven he was. So they end up going on a date at the same place. This is the task. Instead of all of the couples going to the same restaurant like we've seen before, both Otis and Charlie end up taking dates to the same place. So one of the things I didn't like was whenever Milan came over to the house, Charlie showed that she was just as petty as Otis was. I didn't think that Charlie really had it in her to be as petty, but this is the game they play. So she explains to Milan, oh, well, Otis said that you look young. I didn't really think you were his type. But she does it in a real cute, nice, nasty way. And I'm like, Charlie, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to do all that. But when she was doing that, it was showing me why they are together. They like to fight the same type of way. Not only that, when they actually went on the date, they're both toxic. When they went on the date, Otis, it was like some yoga place, right? Otis walks over to Charlie and tries to kiss her while she's on a date with another guy. Number one is marking territory, okay? A lot of people who don't have the gut feeling, a lot of people who are naive, they can't peep when something is cute versus when something is done intentionally to mark territory. Charlie knows her man. She knows how he likes to play, so she knew he was trying to mark territory. So that happened. And I'm like, that's not really it, okay? That's pretty much all that happened between the two of them. I don't think they need to be together. But the one thing I will say is I actually believe Otis when he says that Charlie has moments of wanting to be submissive, wanting to be taken care of, and then other moments where it's like, okay, I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet, leave me alone. And honestly, just because I believe him doesn't mean that I think that there's anything wrong with Charlie being that way. I feel like a lot of women want to, the word submissive is just so misconstrued sometimes, okay? A lot of women want the freedom to be soft, be fragile, especially Black women. Be fragile. You want the freedom to do that, to know that someone else is going to take care of something. But in the same breath, she don't need you to be her daddy, okay? And I think that that's where Otis crosses the line. Another reason I was telling y'all why I feel like they're equally matched is because when he was on the date and he tried to kiss her, she said to him, go wash your hands. Very similar to whenever she came home from her date and he told her, go take a bath. And then he withheld food from her like an abuser. So I'm not really here for this couple. I do think that they're going to get engaged at the end of this because honestly, their only problem right now is a level of a power struggle, okay? Once Otis finds a way to articulate how he's really feeling and what his perception of leadership is versus Charlie's perception of submission, they're going to find a way to make it work because the couples don't come on the show hoping to break up. Majority of them come on the show hoping to get engaged and then they leave with the same problems on their back that they came with, okay? Pack light, Charlie. Okay, you carrying all that weight on your back just to leave with a ring. Okay, so now we're gonna move on from Charlie and them to let's talk about let's talk about Kenneth and Shorty. Y'all, I don't know if I got to come on here and review whenever Kenneth took this woman's bank information. Okay, number one, I'm laughing because the shit is beyond me. I'm laughing because how damn gutter do you have to be to think my girl went on a date? I'm pissed. I'm about to rob her ass. Oh gosh. Thank you for the super chat, Keisha. She said, hey, Necey, gotta go pick up a Walmart order, but I'll be listening from the car. Congrats again. Great seeing you back on my screen. Thank you, Keisha. I just went and picked up my Walmart order today. But literally, y'all, how gutter do you have to be to cause financial harm to your partner who seems like she takes care of him because she went on a date? And then he cried about it. And when he cried about it, she was okay with it because she has dumbass friends, period. I'm sorry, I said it. She has dumbass friends in her ear telling her, girl, well, at least he fighting for you. He doing all that because he love you. Girl, I wish my man would do that for me. And then whenever you forget to unthaw the meat before he come home from playing basketball, because who knows if this man hold a job. When you forget to unthaw the meat and your meat still frozen in the fridge and he get mad, he getting your account and your routing number so he can dip and dash on your ass. Like, what? Oh my gosh. So anyway, I literally couldn't stand them this episode. I could not stand them this episode. It's something fundamentally wrong with the both of them in a way that toxically complements the other. Okay? Kenneth wants somebody to take care of him. Shorty, for whatever reason, I don't know why, beautiful woman, Shorty is insecure. Shorty just wants a man so bad that it's by any means necessary. And yes, J-Dub, don't forget blowing up the spot at work. This man tried to get her fired as well. And I'm going to tell y'all another reason why I feel like it's something wrong with him is because Shorty makes it seem like she contributes more to the relationship than he does. And I don't mean in an emotional, mental way. I mean financially. So for you to be so upset that you would sabotage your situation, it's giving snapped, like Journey to Jasmine said. It's giving snapped. So the reason why I couldn't stand them this episode, Shorty was reveling in the fact that when Kenneth went on this date, he wasn't able to enjoy it because they had their own drama at home. And it's too early in the process for both of y'all to decide that you're going to stand on this 8-hour shift and not do shit. Okay? Because that's what I always relate things to. If you working on fast food, like I used to work at Starbucks in college, like I used to work at Sonic for 2 weeks when I was in high school. If you working fast food, if you're supposed to be getting the job done, if you're on the clock and it ain't nothing to do, you better be sweeping, you better be wiping tables, you better be wiping windows, you better be doing something. You better be pacing back and forth, getting your steps in. Kenneth and Shorty have gotten into arguments, right? Now, beyond the cameras, they've come to the understanding that they're just going to coast, that they're not really going to enjoy other people, that she doesn't actually want to leave him, because we had a completely different energy from Shorty when she first joined the show. When the show first started, I had a feeling that Shorty might actually leave Kenneth Because it sounded like she was saying, maybe I'm asking him to be somebody who he doesn't want to be. Maybe I'm forcing this. She is already saying all the things that she knows is wrong. However, she's just looking for the right reason to leave. And coming on this show, I guess she felt like since cameras were around, she's actually safe to voice all of her negative thoughts on him. Okay. But whenever the cameras go away, that's whenever he mentally manipulates you and gets you back into his web. Okay. So I was annoyed with them because they both had the same understanding that they weren't going to enjoy other people on this show. And he was like, yeah, I ain't worried about the second day because this the only shorty that got the playlist to my heart. It's giving bum. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know nothing about what this man does in his life, but it's giving bum. What man wants to rob his woman because she went on a date? What man takes her phone, locks himself in a room, and you okay with that? It's giving bum energy. Okay. I can't deal. This is only shorty. This is only pleasure. This is the only Louisiana hot boy she need. Go ahead and free yourself, shorty, please. So now it's time to move on to this final couple. The final couple we're going to move on to is Alfonzo and Shay. Thank you so much for the super chat, Tamika. So, yeah, big bum energy. That's the new thing, Monique. It really is. Yep. J-Dub, that's exactly what happened. Kenneth convinced Shorty that they need to stop dating other people. And she went for it because she's so desperate to have a man that she'll take one that's willing to rob her ass. I'm so sorry, y'all. That is just, I ain't never heard no shit like that in my life. We done seen lots of dumb stuff on these TV shows. We done seen lots of dumb shit, but I ain't never heard of a woman willingly, allowing a man to potentially rob you and you stay with him. Girl, bless her heart. You better than me. Okay. So now let's finally talk about Alfonzo and Shay. Okay. Shout out to my girl, Jay Lee. Jay Lee sent a message in the group chat this week. And she showed us that apparently Fonzo goes way back with Rick Ross. So I think it's hilarious that I was calling him a Rick Ross lookalike, and that's who he runs with, okay? But that's even more so explanation as to why Shay is with the shits. That's even more so explanation as to why the Bentley don't really match the house, okay? Because like y'all said, it's probably Airbnb. That's even more explanation, right? That's why Shay's not leaving. Because he has a bag, his money long, and he probably provides for the lifestyle that she wants as long as she accepts certain things. And I'm like, at this point, Shay, I'm tired of you playing in my face. Shay, okay? The reason why I'm saying, Shay, I'm tired of you playing in my face is because you already know what the fuck it is, okay? You already know what it is. I told y'all when I watched the last episode, this man is in a relationship with his baby mother. This man is probably still getting in where he fit in between, just sticking in every now and then with the mother of his child. She came first. The mother prefers her. The mother views you as a side chick. It doesn't matter if he proposed to you or not. Y'all are in two different worlds. And you know this. You know this. So I'm tired of you playing in my face, Shay. You're doing it with the, what is it called? In exchange for the lifestyle. Okay. And if that's the life you want to live, then so be it. Why are you playing in my face on this show? So anyway, y'all, they've been engaged before, right? They've been engaged before. Allegedly called it off because of the family situation, the baby mother situation, right? So why would we not be surprised if he proposed to her at the end of this? Because he still wants to be with her. she's just going to have to oblige to the lifestyle that he has been providing, which is fucking other women and giving other women money. And she's been living that way. So if that's what you are accepting, Shay, stop playing in my face. So at the end of this, y'all, Fonzo took the ring back. Okay. Anyway, at the end of this, he's going to propose again, right? And when he does, nothing's going to change. It's going to be with the intentions that she's okay with his lifestyle. So I didn't get to talk to y'all about that one date that he went on, and she damn near fought the girl, walked them out to the driveway, leaning all into the car window. Oh, while she's sitting on my side, blah, blah, blah. It was real hood. Okay. It wasn't. Why are you doing all that, Shay? It's giving knock down your door and smack your chick. Okay. That's what it's giving. And she does, Stony. She likes fighting with these other women. But the reason why she likes fighting with them is because she sees it as a way to prove her love to him. Similarly to how before they went on the date, she started crying in the bathroom because she wanted him. She keeps doing these things and having these outbursts because she wants him to reciprocate her energy. So if she's so upset and she loves you so much that she's willing to fight for you, she wants you to match her energy and prove to her that that's where you want to be, that she's where you want to be. Okay. And you're not doing that. So she continues to act the ass. Now, they do talk about him handing out money to his baby mamas or women when they're out in public and she's not being introduced to people. And at this point, y'all, it's all the same. It's all the same things. The math is mathing, the cake is baked, Shay. You know your place. You know your position. So once they go on the actual date, y'all, she was crying like I told y'all. She ends up dating a guy who seems like he's kind of her speed, but y'all know the real speed is the bag. Okay, she's not going to continue to date these dudes unless they have the type of bag that Fonzo has. So they're there. The date is going good at first until Fonzo pops up with another woman, and this is what I'm talking about. I told y'all, Sierra, you right on time. I almost forgot about that. I told y'all that they needed to do a better job casting some of these people's dates because I felt like people have a certain type. And I have to say, with Fonzo and Shay, they have been killing their type, okay? At least on Fonzo's side. On Fonzo's side, they bring it in like, a real pretty hood girl, pretty, clutch it type girl. And it's really on brand. It's really on brand. And I'm here for it, okay? So they place him with this girl, and she says she's from Detroit, and she's giving Detroit. She is, okay? And, they having a decent time or whatever. And Shay, all of a sudden, from the other side of the room says, "What was that you said?" And the girl was like, "I wasn't talking to you." And she's like, "Well, I know anytime a girl move her hands like that, it's not going to be nothing good." Shay, that girl didn't say shit to you. Shay was sitting there all day long waiting to fight. That's all she was waiting on. Thank y'all so much for pouring in the congrats. But, Shay was waiting for the perfect opportunity. So they start arguing. Shay's date is trying to calm her down. And I must say, boy, you better than me because I would have dipped. Okay. I would have said, all right, I'm head out. Because why are you there even trying to get to know this woman if she's willing to fight for a man who she's with? So Shay gets up. And then, yes, girl, bye. Shay gets up. And when she does, the girl from Detroit gets up. But she like, you know what? I don't fight. I got weapons. She pulls a whole plate. Like she's ready to throw the plate over her head. And you know what? Part of me kind of was like, do it. Part of me was like, you know what? Just do it. Because Shay, you're going to get enough for running up on people for no reason. You came over there wanting beef. She came at your ass with a China plate. Okay. And if that's what you would have got, that's just what you would have got running up on me for no reason. So part of me wanted to see it go down. Right. Anyway, y'all, they leave it on a to be continued. So that's how the episode ends. At this point in time, Shay, just go home. Pack your bags, okay? Pack your bags, Shay. This is a lifestyle that you signed up for. This is what you are accustomed to. I don't want to see you fight every single episode. Let him cheat in peace, okay? Let him cheat in peace. And if you do continue to stay on the show and you try somebody else, very low key, very high key. I hope they put them paws on you because you're going to get enough for running up on people for real, because I don't think you really want to fight like that. Shay keeps on trying to start beef because she wants Fonzo to jump in and show that he cares for her more than this random woman that he's on a date with. So you know what? Next time, somebody better put them paws on you, okay? And then Fonzo can take you home and ice your damn eye because you keep running up on people. So y'all, that is all that I have for Put a Ring on It, okay? Time marker can go right here. Now that we are done talking about Put a Ring on It and those type of shenanigans, y'all do me a favor, like the video, and then we're going to hop into Ready to Love. All right, y'all. Hello. I see more of y'all jumping in the comments. Karen, Naturally Mar. Hey, y'all. But yeah, okay. It's time to talk about Ready to Love. This show right here, I've seen a lot of people was really like, a lot of people were upset with this season. I was reading the comments and they were feeling like the last season was slightly better. I must say I disagree. I want to know what y'all think in the comments, okay? I must say I disagree. Whew, I need like some water or something. My allergies have been tore the fuck up since I came back. And no, it's not the vid because I had to get tested, okay? But my allergies are killing me. All right, so time to jump into Ready to Love. Let me grab my picture. This week, y'all, the men were tasked with having the women meet their family. And yes, this season is long, Nikki. Thank you. This season is very long, Nikki. I don't know why, because it was less people. Less people. You would think with less people that the season will be a little bit shorter. But y'all want to know the real reason why I feel so long? Because we keep having all these damn self-eliminations. We had Ace send herself home. We had Tina send herself home. We had a double elimination with Sabrina and Demetrius. And I swear, y'all, I have to be missing somebody. I have to be missing somebody. But it definitely seems like we're missing some. And I have to agree with you, Jasmine. The retreat in Houston was the best when all the people were staying in one spot. When Winter was creeping up in Jay's room, walking down the hallway, like, didn't nobody see her? We saw what she was doing. That was the best season. But this one, yeah, whatever. So let's go ahead and get into this show. Like I said, y'all, the women are meeting the men's family. And I noticed something. So for the longest, throughout the other seasons, I would always complain about how all of the women were much younger than the men on this show and how a lot of the things were favored for the men on this show. One of the things being that the men had a men's lounge and the ladies had to sweat out their leave out outside. Then finally, they didn't do men's lounge, women's lounge. Both of them started going to restaurants or whatever, right? So I was looking at the information on the show, and y'all know how they do the little summary. When they did the summary, y'all, this show was created to be told from a men's point of view. I didn't know that. So it said basically it was going to explore dating from a man's point of view. And then it also mentioned how the men would go through a selection of women on the show. Y'all look up the information on Hulu, but that's basically why the show is like that. And it seems like since then they've been trying to cater to the women who watch the show, because I'm like, you know what? I don't really care to watch a show that's specifically from a man's point of view. Yeah. You can tell. You can tell that's how season 1 was. Yes. The earlier seasons were like that. And I think as people started complaining about it, I mean, majority of your audience is Black women. Do you think that we care to see Black men choose us? Like, damn, you know what? I think it should be even. I think the women should get to choose if that's somebody that they want to date as well. Welcome, Shar. But okay. Let's go on. So the first person who we get to see meet the family is Joy. And I had to say it like that because when she met the family, she said it, she put on her wholesome voice. Hi, I'm Joy. Hi, I'm Joy. She basically sung it. And, she explains to Clifton's aunt and Clifton's uncle that she has allowed her career to sidetrack her from actually finding love. Now, y'all know that Joy is a singer. And I didn't know that she traveled to Mexico. But when I was actually in Mexico, I didn't see her. I'm not about to go there. But when I was actually in Mexico, I saw they had different entertainment comes to the resort every night. And I was talking, I was going to say my fiance. I was talking to my husband. Ooh, I was talking to him and I was like, look, there goes Joy. And I was saying it like in a laughing type of way. So to come home and to watch the episode and to hear her say that she actually travels to Mexico 6 months out of the year, that was just real funny. Anyway, because she travels so much, she has allowed her career to sidetrack her from finding love. She also explains how, I need to see. Tell us how that was, J-Dub. Did you talk to him? Anyway, y'all killing me. Anyway, she explains to his uncle and his aunt or cousin, whatever it is, that he checks all of her boxes without her telling him exactly what it is. She loves her some Clifton. It seems like they have already been in a relationship this entire time, which is why I was kind of annoyed with the whole Dakia storyline too. But then she drops the bomb that she travels 6 months out of the year. So Clifton, one of the things that he said in his confessional was that it would be hard, but it seemed like it was something that they were willing to do. Although he did say, I know that I would struggle not being able to just, get that physical touch when I needed it. And when he said, get that physical touch, I was like, oh, you talking about pen. You talking about laying the pen. You talking about sliding up in. Is that what you're talking about, Clifton? That's what I thought he was talking about. And I'm sure he was. Now, y'all, honestly, I don't think that Clifton is the type of man who would be able to withhold for 6 months. But in the very beginning of the season, he mentioned that he had a job where he could travel with her. So do you have a job where you could travel with her? But let's add on another layer to this, y'all. Even if he did have a job to travel with her, he has 2 children. So he probably can't be gone to Mexico for 6 months. And Pisces, I agree with you 100%. Why are we just now hearing about her going to Mexico for 6 months? That should have been a discussion we saw between them. They did have the discussion, but they didn't show the audience that she was gone for 6 months. Whenever she first met him, they both sat poolside at the first mixer. She told him that she travels a lot. So I'm just like, I guess. Y'all, I feel like these two could actually be together in real life. It's just the simple fact of I don't think this relationship will work with all that distance for 6 months. That's all that it is. I don't think the relationship will work with all the distance. Okay. So let's move on. Y'all. Okay. I had to take a brief pause because I feel some type of way about Donovan. And y'all tell me if y'all feel some type of way about Donovan. He does have a young child. Clifton does. He does. So when Donovan first came on the show, I was like, ooh, he's handsome. He's fine, right? But then I told y'all, and if y'all been here for a minute, y'all remember I told y'all, you know he's a fuck boy because he has the nose ring in. No offense to the men with the nose rings, but a man that knows he's fine, that has a piercing, let's give him a fuck boy. Third red flag for me was whenever he actually started to take Carmen seriously. Okay. When he actually started to take Carmen seriously, that was it for me. I was like, it's something wrong with this man. It definitely is. So Donovan, he's upset because at the last mixer, Sabrina expressed her concern of, is he truly ready to love? Did he give himself time to heal after the divorce? And now all of a sudden, he invites her on this date, and I had to get that second picture there because whenever they show up, she says, well, thank you for coming. It seems like you have a lot on your mind. And he goes, you don't have a lot on your mind, but then you continue to talk for the rest of the time that you're there. What we're seeing is a bunch of men turn into fragile ass, baby ass ego, little bitty egos. Their egos are shrinking. And I was looking on, because sometimes I'll be watching the episode on them illegal websites so I can get the screenshots for y'all. I was looking at the comments, and a lot of people were literally upset with Sabrina. They were calling Sabrina a toxic woman. A lot of people were saying that Sabrina needed to go ahead and get into submission or else she would not be able to find a man. I have to disagree. I definitely see a lot of people's frustration with her indecisiveness, but literally, I think that Sabrina has been authentic and honest with herself throughout this entire journey. Like, Sabrina has understood the assignment. Sabrina was supposed to come there, date multiple people. Y'all were upset that she didn't like one guy more than the other because she found flaws between all three of y'all. Let's be real. All of the men that she talked to had different flaws. Sabrina stuck with Demetrius the longest, in my opinion, because he gave her the least. And what I mean by that is Tori was doing the most. She was easily able to pinpoint his flaws, and she made the decision that that was not the move for her. Donovan, he started leaning in a little bit more. She pinpoint a little bit of concern, and just based off of him acting like a B-I-T-C-A, just based off of him acting like that, she knew that wasn't the move for her, right? Now, Demetrius, when I say that he gave her the least, she couldn't figure him out just yet. So there was no reason to cancel him out if he wasn't giving 100%. Like he said, I'm not going to give 100% of time in a relationship, which is backwards as fuck, but whatever. So a lot of the men were just upset that instead of this being a male-centric show of them getting to choose who they wanted, Sabrina was playing all her cards right. So Donovan takes this moment to say that he's upset with some of her hesitations towards him. I don't know why you're upset. In the same breath, he says, you haven't been consistent. And I'm just like, boy, with your big grown ass, I really have to boy you right now. It was ugly. And she knew it was ugly. And she sat there and kind of just looked at him and let him have this fit. So they have fragile egos. Okay, that's exactly what it was. And she says that the reason why she leaned back on him was because he gave her an ultimatum. And he basically said, if you don't choose between me and Demetrius, I'm going to move on with Carmen. 100%, I believe he said that. 100%, I believe he said that. You know, Sabrina is more qualified on paper, more qualified physically than Carmen. Her eyes are real. She doesn't have to brag to everyone that her hair is real. Like, Sabrina does not go around doing that. Sabrina is a professional woman. She's not a fucking party promoter or whatever it is that Carmen's doing with her powerful necklaces. Sabrina is where you want it to be. And now you're upset that since Sabrina isn't showing you the same pick-me energy that Carmen is, now you're leaning back on Carmen and you're simply using her as a threat in this situation to make Sabrina feel bad. So that's what tells me, even though you want to act to us like you really like Carmen, you really don't like Carmen like that. Because in this situation, you're using her to make Sabrina feel bad. If the situation you had with Carmen was pure, authentic, powerful, if it was, you wouldn't have to mention her to Sabrina. You wouldn't have to. What I think is going on is Carmen really ain't all that cute, in my opinion. Okay. She's not ugly. She's not an ugly woman. She's not. But anybody who sits there and brags about how much better they are than other people, I'm automatically gonna look at you and be like, you ain't shit. Okay. The only reason why Donovan is actually interested in Carmen the way he is because, for one, she boosts his ego. Okay. The face, the curls, the piercing, fuck boy. He needs someone to chase him. Carmen chases him. Okay. She makes him feel good about himself. And they have a physical attraction. Okay. And to me, I'm kind of annoyed because physically, Donovan could be pulling women that look much, much, much better than Carmen. But it's the chase that sets Carmen up to be in the running with Sabrina. And based on him settling for that, in my mind, that tells me that you truly have some fuckboyness in you. Okay. You truly have some fuckboyness in you, because in a real world, y'all, he could be pulling women that look much better than Carmen, but you choose not to because Carmen is easy. And I don't mean sexually, or do I? Carmen is easier because she has pick-me energy and she's chasing him. So that's why I'm judging you, Donovan. So the conversation ends. He says that he is moving on with Carmen. So now, to move on to Carmen, I was super excited to see Carmen this episode. The reason why I was so excited to see Carmen this episode is because I knew that she was going to show up as a different person. She was going to show up as a completely different person because she was meeting mommy. Okay. She was meeting mommy. So instead of having her blue contacts on, instead of having her nipples on hard, instead of having a crop top, ass out, something like that, she came with a nice shawl. She came with flowers for the mother, flowers for Donovan. And y'all tell me if I'm tripping, but I feel like that's usually something that a man does. I mean, maybe women do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be bringing you and your mama flowers. You be bringing me flowers, Donovan. Anyway, she shows up. Even her tone of voice, was different, much softer. When I say nipples on hard, yes, I say nipples on hard because that's where she met Paul's friend with her nipples on hard. Okay. And I was saying this on Ule's first panel. Okay. I understand that bras be real annoying, especially for the girls with the big old titties, right? I was trying to say tig old bitties, but it is what it is. Big old titties, especially for the girls with big old titties. But whenever you're going to meet friends or family, I would prefer to not have my nipples at the forefront of the conversation. So I'm like, damn, you should have wore some nipple covers. So yeah, she didn't pop up like that. So anyway, yeah, her tone of voice was much different. She was calm. She was respectful. This is probably the second time and the most that I ever heard her talk about being a mother. Okay. Outside of that, I'm a socialite. I'm a bad bitch. My hair real, even though it's on less than 100% Instagram. My hair real. You know, men want me. Like, that's all we ever hear. This episode, it was, I'm a mother. I'm a single mother. I've been a single mother for 8 years. His dad has nothing to do. It's just me and my son. Where was all that? Where was all that before, Carmen? Okay. I salute you for raising your son by yourself, But where was all that? It feels very much like you giving us Dr. Jekyll and Mr. You giving us two different personalities. Yeah, she's a mom. And a lot of y'all didn't know that. I think she mentioned it when she first came on the show, and that was it. Okay. And yes, she doesn't speak of being a mother because in her mind, when you're a mother, you can't be a bad bitch. So she's trying to prove to everyone that she's just this bad bitch. But now that she's in front of Donovan's mother, who she knows was also a single mother, she's like, let's bond over none of the fathers being in their lives. So that's what they do. Donovan's mother, she seems like she has a very interesting, unique, quirky personality. Even though she acts like she's hardcore and says that no one's good enough for her son, anybody who knows how to play the game and have a good, friendly conversation can get along with Donovan's mother. So she ends up loving her at the end, and they want to exchange phone numbers. So I think it might end up fucking out. I was gonna say working out, but honestly, something in my soul is telling me that y'all knocking boots, and the knocking boots will definitely work out. One of the things I found out that was interesting though on Instagram was that Joy and Carmen, were they actually consider each other best friends. I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's all I feel about Donovan and Carmen. It's given very fake. It's given Donovan wants to, you ain't got to say too much. Donovan wants to smash. He's smashing, maybe. Okay. So now let's move on to Paul and Dakia. Paul and Dakia meet up. And honestly, y'all, if I'm being real, now that we see Paul in a different light, I feel like Paul is a very likable guy. I feel like Paul and Dakia are likable people individually. I actually do believe him when it came to the situation of Carmen. And I have to say, I respect Paul more because he is calling out the same things that we all have been noticing, which is Carmen is an insecure woman, and you shouldn't be worried about what the other women are doing. Every time we see Carmen on screen, she's talking about another woman, talking about what she has and another woman doesn't. And it's just ugly. It's ugly. And that's sad. It's sad. So I'm glad that Paul was able to call it out. However, I'm concerned that Paul is reaching at this point. I think Paul wants somebody, and he knows that Dakia is just a good woman because she got a good job. She seems to be level-headed. She's sweet. There's nothing wrong with her necessarily. And because he knows she's a good woman, he's willing to settle there and see what goes on from here. Dakia just wants somebody. So she's still trying to see what's going on between her and Paul. I wish that this was a connection that they ventured out on way earlier. But my concern is that y'all just want somebody, okay? Anybody. And this probably should have been done way, way earlier. The boost have been, this should have been done way earlier. Okay, so now y'all, whenever they go on this date, they both explain that they want to, figure out what the other person is on, explore this relationship. But again, every time Paul gets around her, he has to talk to Dakia about why she's such an amazing woman. And I think he's literally speaking to her accomplishments on paper rather than who she actually is deep down inside. So on paper, I think y'all would probably get along, but we really don't. Y'all not vibing like that, like the way you want y'all to vibe. So he invites her to meet up with his brother, and she does. And whenever they do, Dakia resume reads, okay, because they want to know more about her. She resume reads, talks about how she works for NASA, how she works for a dance studio, yada, yada, yada. A lot of the answers are cookie cutter. But one of the things I found that was interesting was that Paul's brother Kellen says that he feels that Paul has given too many chances in his last marriage. So I want to know, like, what happened in his marriage? Was his wife cheating on him? Was she spending all the money? Was she not fulfilling him? What's the situation with Paul in his last marriage? I also don't know if Paul has any children. They might have mentioned it, but it's not something that I know. And it seems like next episode, somebody from Paul's family is going to say to Dakia, we want kids. And we all know that She had ovarian cancer. She's a survivor of that. So kids are more than likely not in her future. So I'm just like, there's still so much stuff that I want to know about them. Anyway, by the end of that day, Dakia says that she still leaves getting a friendship vibe. I'm actually surprised that Dakia said this, because Dakia is known for reaching for some low-hanging fruit. Whenever Dakia said that Tori was looking good, that's when I was like, girl, it's time to pack your bags. It's time to go home if you think that Tori is looking that good. Tori looking, I didn't say this every video, and I'm going to say it again. Tori is looking like your best friend's little brother that won't stay out her room when you come over to the house. I don't think that's it. So I'm glad that Dakia is being more aware that the vibes with her and Paul may not get there. But that doesn't mean that just because she said it, she's actually going to be honest with herself. Like, that's why I really admire what Sabrina has been doing on this show. Sabrina has been so honest that it's almost been to a fault. And when I say to a fault, the men are getting pissed off. Laverne mad because you don't want to talk to him because you were honest from jump. She's been honest with herself, and Sabrina is like, hey, I done been married, been divorced before. Next relationship I'm gonna get in, it's gonna be the right fit for me. And I respect her for that. And I hope that Dakia is able to, have some self-realization and determine if Paul is really something that she can explore, or if it's just something that they think would be okay for now and they're just going after it, right? So let's move on from there to speaking about Sabrina, actually. So now for Sabrina. Y'all, they meet up to talk about the concerns of their relationship. We've seen Sabrina and Demetrius have this conversation multiple of times at this point. They don't go together, okay? They don't go together. They look good together. I think they're physically attracted to one another. And Demetrius wants Sabrina so bad that he's willing to overlook some of their fundamental differences. And she wasn't lying when she said that. So her concerns are this whole submission topic, power dynamic. And Demetrius lets her know that he doesn't want a woman that's submissive and that those words were just misconstrued. Now, I don't think his friend would have said that for no reason. I think Sabrina is noticing things that will probably appear 6 months to a year into their relationship that Demetrius is willing to overlook. Sabrina is the complete opposite of submissive. They even talk about, should she take his last name? And while Demetrius feels like it's natural for a woman to take a man's last name, Sabrina is unconventional in thought. So I don't think that they go together. And I think Sabrina knows that while you're saying this isn't an issue now, down the road, it's going to be a problem. So anyway, she said she feels like they're scrambling because it's the last minute and she doesn't want to meet his family yet. He invited her to actually meet his family. And she said, I don't want to meet them until our relationship is good and what we show them can be reflective of that. Now, while I was kind of like, damn, Sabrina, you could have just met his family, I was annoyed because I was like, if that's if you're not going to meet his family, just go home right now. Like, I really just wanted them to end this scene right here with her saying, I'm going to self-eliminate. But no, they drug us back to another scene. So yeah, she decides that she doesn't want to meet their family. And all we can do, honestly, I guess I've been telling y'all how much I admire her honesty. But at that point in time, Sabrina, I felt like if you knew that you were not going to meet his family, that's when you should have went home. But I do know, y'all, this is a TV show. So maybe for the sake of everybody just dipping, when they feel like dipping, they'll probably like have this conversation and then have another dinner so we can finally have an elimination scene. So I think that that's what happened. Yes, Rainey says Sabrina knows that Demetrius' representative is what she's seeing right now. Facts, exactly. Life of Jay says, honestly, Sabrina shouldn't have been on this show. I don't know. I think she did fine on the show. I just think that she's very decisive. And a lot of y'all are going to say that she's indecisive because she took so long. But ultimately, whenever she ended each relationship, she knew why she was ending the relationship. She wasn't one of those women that was just being strung along based on hope. But yeah. Okay, so now let's move on from that to the men's lounge. When we get to the men's lounge, Tommy brings up the same point that I brought up to y'all, which is, you know what? Why are you choosing Dakia, Paul? Like, why? He's really trying to make him think. And Paul is like, you know what? Dakia is straightforward and the other women are not. So Donovan again, he's crying, saying that Sabrina didn't take accountability when it met up. She just has no accountability at all. And I'm glad that Tommy asked him, what do you want her to take accountability for? Because say it with your chest, Donovan, are you pressed because she chose, or it seemed as though she was choosing Demetrius over you? So he actually had to say it. He said that he was annoyed over the indecisiveness because she couldn't choose between himself or Demetrius. So yeah, say it with your chest, Donovan. That's what it was about. What do you mean no accountability? Let's just say you had a hissy fit because she didn't do what you wanted, what she wanted you to do. You had a hissy fit. So Demetrius explains that Sabrina didn't want to meet the family. He says he kind of understood why she didn't, but then he kind of didn't. And that's when I was kind of like, Demetrius, if Sabrina wasn't going to end the relationship right there, that's when you should have ended it. If she didn't want to meet your family, it sounded like y'all were just going to be in an endless cycle of like, let's wait till things get right. Let's wait till things get right. So that's where I was like, damn, you already know what time it is, Demetrius, but you don't want to end it. So finally, y'all, Sabrina and Demetrius meet up. And whenever they do, she explained that her father doesn't meet anybody unless it's serious, unless it's like, I want your hand in marriage type of thing. So she didn't feel right meeting his family. Now, I've heard of that before. I actually have heard of people who operate like that, but I feel like it was kind of an excuse for going ahead and breaking up with him, because he could have done what we've seen a lot of the other people do. You could have met his cousin, you could have met his brother, you could have met his best friend who is like family. Like it could have been that type of situation, Sabrina. I think it was in that point in time, just like Kyra is saying, you knew why. You knew why. And I feel like at that point in time, when you met with him at the bar and you told him you didn't want to meet his family, you could have went home. But then again, like I said, it might have been production that made her string it along for another scene. So anyway, she says that, I find that you're not my person. We have fundamental differences. And Demetrius, while that's a hard pill to swallow, he's drinking on his drink. He says, my journey started with you. It's ending with you. I'll wait for a little bit, but I respect it. They end up hugging. And then that's the end of the episode. So we get 2 people going home. So I think it's 3 couples left now. Something like that. But all in all, this show can go ahead and end. Y'all think we're going to get a back-to-back season like we did this one? Because we literally had like a 1-week break. We had a 1-week break. So I don't know if we're going to have a back-to-back. All right. I'm going to put in another like the video, because for those of you who are just now joining the conversation, y'all go ahead, do me a favor and like the video, and then y'all already know what time it is. It's time to get into y'all's favorite show, which is Love and Marriage Huntsville. All right, y'all. I gotta take a sip of my water. My goodness. So, y'all, I was teasing y'all at the beginning of the video. We'll have an announcement on Thursday, but we got another interview coming up. I ain't gonna tell y'all who to interview with. Just pop in on Thursday. Pay attention to our social medias, my social media, Ooh Ladies First Panel social media. And we'll have a Love and Marriage Huntsville coming up real soon. And we'll have special access for members only. So anyway, it's time to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. I watched this episode probably 3 times. And I'm really glad that this episode felt like it was about 4 scenes. This episode felt like it was about 4 scenes, but I have to say, almost every single scene was pretty good. It was good. And the other thing I have to say, social media was split. Social media was split. A lot of y'all cannot stand Mel. And a lot of y'all ain't here really here for Destiny. So whenever we get into this conversation about Destiny and Mel, light up the chat for me, because I want to know like where y'all are coming from. What I think, and I'm gonna tell y'all once we get into Destiny and Mel, I'm gonna tell y'all what I think the argument is. I think that the people who are arguing on behalf of Destiny, they have a different perception. I think people are trying to argue semantics as far as what's talking, what's not talking, as what's being fake, what's not really being fake, what Mel's requirements are. Whereas the people who are arguing on Mel's side, I think that they're seeing it from a different perspective. Hey, Ramel. But I think people are seeing it from a different perspective. So it's like, we'll talk about it. Okay, we'll talk about it. I ain't gonna dig just yet. My throat is like cracking. I need some honey and some lemon ASAP, okay? Woo! So we gonna jump into Tisha and her Reading Rainbow cousin with this t-shirt, Reading Rainbow shirt. And yes, I got the pictures off Instagram from Peach Report Daily because my little website wasn't working. So y'all, I didn't get to talk to y'all about this bullshit that went down the week before, and that's Kiki. Kiki, what are you doing? What are you doing, Kiki? This is probably the only time that I felt myself literally agreeing with Tisha so much. Kiki, y'all, hold on. I felt like the way I usually feel about Tisha is the way that I was feeling about Kiki in this scene. The way I feel about Tisha from what I see on this show, Tisha is insecure, okay? Tisha cares about what people think to the umpteenth degree. We've seen that season over season. But you want to know who is the exact same way? Kiki. Kiki wants to get in where she fits in, okay? And if that means, teetering the line of being in the presence of somebody talking shit about your cousin, you're going to do it for a check, okay? You had been on the show with Tisha. I hadn't really seen you that much. I watched the first season, a little bit of second season. I watched probably about 85% of the show. I'm not that familiar with Kiki. But just based on last season, when you came to Kimmy with the bullshit, and you said to Kimmy, "Oh, what was the drama? You should have been supporting Tisha more. You should have been defending her." You're trying to make an argument on Tisha's behalf for camera time. Why the fuck couldn't you keep that same energy when you got with Mel? Do you want to know the reason why? I already know the reason why. The reason why you couldn't keep that same energy is because you was there with head honcho, okay? You was there with Mel, head honcho of the show. So you was willing to be on TV by any means necessary, even all the way down to, did y'all realize how ready she was for that damn confessional? She sat in the confessional and said, "I thought I could trust my cousin, but it's the unfortunate realities of the ugly truth." Girl, if you don't get the fuck right now. Kiki was so pressed for that confessional. She knows that we on social media talk about how ignorant Tisha can sound sometimes talking about her events. She knows how ignorant the people say that Miss Wanda sounds. We're not going to talk about that being a byproduct of the of racism in America and systemic racism, but she knows what the people say about Tisha and her family from the other side of the tracks. So when she came to that confessional, she wanted to sound educated. It's the unfortunate reality of the ugly truth. Girl, if you don't get the fuck right now. So anyway, I think that Kiki is fake as hell. Can't trust her as far as you can throw her. That's the perfect situation of whenever people say, what they say, I was gonna say blood ain't thicker than water, but it's something else that they say. It's not that. It's not that. Anyway, Kiki is one of the reasons why people be like, you can't even really trust your family like that because you know exactly what the hell you were doing. So whenever Tisha tries to have a real conversation and she tries to communicate exactly how she feels in a very, careful way, Tisha, hats off to you for actually being able for a little bit to have a conversation. Because I'm gonna tell you where you went wrong, Tisha. You did good beginning, but Kiki was able to manipulate you. And that's the thing I don't get. Tisha, you are so smart, yet so easily manipulated. And it's out of your need to be liked by everyone, out of your need to be concerned about what people's perceptions are of you or what the optics are all of the time. So even though you came to Black to have that conversation with Kiki about what the hell she did to you, she ended up having a conversation with you about what you did to her 4 years ago. And because you were so worried about what people would say and what people would think, you allowed her to manipulate you into having that 10-minute conversation about some random shit that didn't matter. And let's be real, I don't care what you did, Tisha, to your cousin 4 years ago. I don't care. Because if your cousin decides to forgive you, y'all hung out, she's been in scenes, worried about your well-being, worried about people defending you, why is she bringing the shit back up? And I hate that she manipulated you into going off track. So Kiki flipped it, and ultimately it seems like y'all don't really end up in a good spot at the end of this conversation. And I know they're supposed to be saying, oh, but that's your family. Tisha, cut her off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would speak to you at the family reunions. I talk to my second, third cousin, your kids or whatever. I take the pictures with you. Shoot, we can make the t-shirts together. But as far as you having any access to my life in regards to what happens on TV, you would never. I would pay you dust because by any means necessary, you're willing to embarrass your family, talk shit about your family, just for being on TV. And I'm just gonna tell you straight like this, Kiki. What are you gonna do with the minutes? What are you gonna do with the minutes, Kiki? This is my thing. If you're gonna go out of your way to, laugh with your cousin, laugh with somebody who doesn't like your cousin or who's an enemy. Let's talk about that. If you don't go out of your way to be in the presence of someone who's a known enemy of your cousin, at least what are you going to do with the minutes? Are you going to sell a t-shirt? You're going to start an online boutique? You're going to start a YouTube channel. What are you going to do, Kiki? It doesn't seem like you're doing anything with the minutes besides the fact that you just want to be on TV. So as far as Kiki talking to the enemy, I want to get y'all's perspective on what y'all think about Kiki being around Mel and lightweight being compliant with some of the shadiness that was around. Let's talk about the Christmas party. Mel said, I wasn't the first person to tell her what people were saying about her husband in 2018, was I? Kiki then confirms and says, no, other people has been telling Tisha things that she needed to hear, but it's almost as if Tisha doesn't want to accept those things as reality. In other words, people have come to my cousin with the bullshit about Marcel, but Tisha is turning a blind eye to it. So you're confirming that shit is going on, but Tisha don't want to go digging for dirt. You're confirming, right? So let's think about this situation and try to find a way to apply it to the Destiny and Mel situation. Because this word enemy, I think, is adding to further confusion of like, oh, she's an enemy. This is why they shouldn't be talking. I think enemy is allowing a lot of people to determine what side they're on. Okay. Even if Tisha did not name Mel as her enemy, Tisha feels the same way about Kiki being compliant in a conversation about her as Mel feels about Destiny being compliant in a conversation about her. So, what I want some of y'all to think about is the people who have issues with Mel holding Destiny to a standard. If y'all agree with the way that Tisha feels about Kiki, why can it not be applied to the Destiny and Mel situation? Okay. So let's move on. We'll move on from here to y'all. I didn't even get a picture of Martell and whatchamacallit, but we're gonna talk about it real quick. Marcel and Martell meet up, and Martell, he's just wanting everyone to feel bad for him because the kids didn't show up to the book signing, and they didn't come because it was Mel's week, and I told her ahead of time, and finally I got Mel red-handed, and now y'all can see that she's a bad person, and I can finally be a victim, is what he was giving. So he's talking to Marcel about that. Still don't have his builder's license. Okay. I've seen things on the internet which speculates why he does not have his builder's license. But y'all know I don't do gossip over here. Anyway, he said he was embarrassed, but he wants to talk about some of the projects that he has coming up. Like he has wine tasting coming up. He's working on his his cookbook. And honestly, I'm glad, Martell. I'm glad that you are working on things that don't have to do with Mel, but still every single scene that we see you're talking about Mel. Okay. You want us to hate her so bad. You want us to hate her so bad, and it's eating you alive that everyone does not. Some people have started to get on the hate Mel train. I have not gotten there just yet, or at all, actually. So anyway, he wants the guys to go to ATL for wine tasting. So that's going to be a nice little wholesome trip because the cameras are going to be there. And Marcel looks like he's concerned. And whenever Martell says, well, not that kind of trip, that's when I said, then what kind of trip was the last one, Marcel? Y'all continuously tell on yourselves in one way or another, but none of your wives want that smoke. None of your wives want the smoke that Mel has had to go through. So a lot of them are willing to turn the other direction, which is what we're seeing, right? So anyway, the final conversation that Martell ends up having with Marcel is he wants to get back into business with Marcel and Tisha, and he wants to jump back into their company called Schultz. It was the Scott/Holt company that they built together. They had some differences, obviously, and it sounds like Marcel ended up buying the company in completion from Martell. Martell was bought out. So now Martell wants to get back into the business. So it was funny to me because Marcel kind of gives him an answer of, we'll see. And then Martell doesn't let it die right there. Martell is desperate to get back into this business. So instead of taking the we'll see type of answer, that's when he says, yeah, so what do you think? That's whenever Marcel ends up having to hit him with the, let me talk to my wife. But we can start on small projects together and see where things go. Martell, get your fucking builder's license. Get your builder's license immediately. I am tired of seeing you either rely on pity from people because you want us to hate Mel. I am tired of seeing you have to depend on other men on this show as a source of income. We watched you last season have to depend on your friend, Freddie, Frank, whatever his name was, because he felt bad for you. Okay. When the reality is, why don't you just get your builder's license? Let Marcel keep Schultz. And then you start your own company, the same way that you're starting these wine companies, the same way that you're starting the kids' book that you're probably profiting from, the same way that you're doing these calendar shoots. Why couldn't you just put in that same hustle instead of having to rely on another man? And then everyone around you, you do it in a way to make people feel bad for you or a way to find mutual hate for Mel in order to put money in your pocket. That's sad. Okay? Be a made man. Do what you got to do outside of Melody Holt, honestly, because she's doing without you. So we'll move on from there to let's talk about who is this? This random ass scene. Let me take my sip of water. This shit was so random. Gulp. This shit was so random. When I tell you I seen this on TV and I was confused. And I was looking for the third and fourth character in this scene because I was like, why the fuck is Destiny sitting down with Maurice? Why is Destiny sitting down with Maurice? It was awkward. And she came there knowing exactly what she had to talk about. So Destiny is talking about how her divorce has changed her finances drastically. She only has 1 year to refinance the home to get it back in her name out of her husband's name so she could continue to live there and not shake up her baby's world because she don't want her baby to lose her home because of a divorce. She also explains how she needed to be on public assistance. Maurice took me the fuck out when he said, what do you mean? Like a PPP loan? Because everybody was getting them PPP loans if you were able to get them. Destiny has Madonna, the beauty supply store. So, it was under my assumption that, maybe you were using the PPP loan to pay your employees, to maybe some of the money you had to use to survive, right? So he says that, and I'm like, well, I'm glad you asked because I was saying the same thing, right? So anyway, she explains, no, it wasn't PPP. I literally needed government assistance to get by. Now, one of the things to me, I don't think there's any shame in anybody needing government assistance to get by. But because we see you on this show and, our perception of you just has been success. Whenever you were first on the show with LeBerg, you seem to be this power couple. That's how you were introduced to us. And if LeBerg has been a part of this child's life or Law's life since he was born, regardless of him filing for divorce 3 weeks after she had the baby, why is it that he would allow you and his son to be in a situation to where you needed public assistance to survive? That's the question for me. No shame in you being on public assistance, but the question for me is why? Why was that the case? But okay. So her world absolutely was shaken up, but I definitely want to get more answers on what the situation was, because to me it seems like Destiny has always been pretty quiet. Okay. She's always been pretty less transparent, right? But it seemed like it was just a period of just the unknown, and then boom, I'm divorced. Now it's like, yeah, I did get divorced. Okay, now I was on public assistance. But it's like you're letting us know a little bit of, bits and pieces of what happened. And I'm being generous when I do this. Literally, we know divorce, public assistance. We know 2 little pieces of what happened. We don't know anything else. So I would love for you, Destiny, to add some color as to what did we miss? What did we miss over the course of a season where you were on the show supporting Mel and her storyline, supporting what seemed like she was a supporting character of Mel and Martell for an entire season, if you want to be real. What was going on in your world? I just want to know. And then also I want to know, like, what else are we going to see from you in the future? Are we going to see you date? Like what is going on, right? So anyway, Maurice suggests that she uses Madani for residual income, use it for rental space. And she says that that's something that she is working on, right? So she's currently working with Marcel to work on her building. Now, of course, it ain't gonna be no scene without talking about Mel. So they start talking about Mel. Maurice brings it up and he says, so I heard you were getting into it with your friend. And she says, yeah, it was just abrupt that their relationship ended out of nowhere. Mel stopped talking to her, and Destiny just was not aware at all that Tisha was her enemy. Now, y'all, here's my frustration, okay? I think this word enemy is being used. I think this word enemy is being used as a way to deter us from the fact of the matter. Every time we hear this story being told, it's like, well, I didn't know she was her enemy, or I didn't know her enemy. And in all of these conversations that we've been seeing Destiny have, as soon as she says the word enemy, it's like the person that she is talking to is like, oh, I didn't know it was that deep. And then they're suddenly taken off track from the actual issue at hand, which is, regardless of if you knew that Tisha's title in Mel's life was an enemy, you knew that Mel was uncomfortable with you talking about her to someone who she has friction with. It's as simple as that. Let's not even use the word enemy. You know that Mel has issues with you talking to someone who she has friction with, who she has had friction with for years at this point. So much so that you and Mel are so close that I'm sure that she has spoken to you about Tisha. So it does not take a rocket science for you to figure out, you know what, my friend may be uncomfortable with this. But what I do know is misery loves company. I'm going to just say it plain as day. People bond. I'm not calling her miserable. That's just the best analogy that I can make. People bond over a mutual dislike for another person. And I think Destiny knew that she could rely on Tisha to see where she was coming from when it came to her voicing her frustrations about Mel. We've seen her do it with Martell, y'all. Whenever she went to go drop off the baby oil to Martell, she started talking to Martell about Mel. Now, who better than Martell to see Destiny's point of view? And as soon as she started talking, he said, yeah, well, she's a mean girl. She's this, she's that. Those are all of the co-signing things that you want to hear when you want people to see your point of view. So who better? You knew it was going to be Tisha. The other scene the other part that got me was she says that it's unfair that she's being held to a standard. And again, y'all, I'll say it again. The enemy word is used as a method of confusion. Okay. The enemy word is used as a method of confusion. It doesn't take a rocket science to know that she don't want you talking to Tisha. I don't think there's anything that's unfair about that. And the fact that you and Mel talked and then you thought y'all were good and then all of a sudden y'all weren't, I don't think that there's anything wrong with the way that Mel handled that, because I've done that before. I have caught somebody doing something that I don't consider being like, example, I got into an argument with a friend. When I got into, this is not the same situation, but the way that I handled it is similar. I got into an argument with a friend. When we argued, my friend told me everything that they disliked about me, even made up rumors about me that were lies in an argument between themselves and I. So I knew that in that moment, they wanted to skew people's perception of me by sharing screenshots or saying what we were arguing about, things that obviously weren't true. Now, we spoke after that. They apologized. However, do you think I moved the same way with that friend after the fact? I did not. My standards for that person changed. So we can still have casual conversation, but my standards changed for you, and you are no longer a part of my day-to-day life, and I'm feeding you from a long spoon. So I think that's what happened. Destiny is probably confused because she's probably tried to have conversations with Mel since then, and Mel has not allowed her back into her life the way that she was. That's just the way that I think. So now, this scene took me out, and I busted out laughing. She said, this is Destiny talking to Maurice. There's been times where I'm going through things. I'm like, dang, I wish I could just call my friend on the phone. And that's whenever Maurice says, well, who'd you call? And then they play this somber ass music, and she says, I called Tisha. I called Tisha. Tisha has been there for me. So while I think it's great that Destiny has other relationships on the show, let's not be confused. I think that they might be friends. They might genuinely be friends, but let's be real. This is a friendship of convenience. And you could tell that her and Tisha had already had conversations about Mel before they got on the stage at the reunion, because if you look back at the flashbacks, the entire time that Destiny is talking about Mel, Tisha is co-signing, whether that be verbally or she's sitting there nodding her head. They have had conversations, and Destiny knows better than anybody that Tisha could see where she was coming from when it came to her expressing her disdain for Mel. So we're going to move on from that scene to move on to the final scene. Speaking about Mel and Destiny finally meet up in person. And when they do, Mel comes with her receipts already. Mel explains to Destiny, at the reunion, I allowed you to perpetuate a falsehood, which was that we didn't speak. It was not accurate. And that's what she says to her. So Destiny sits there, and y'all, I honestly was uncomfortable in this situation because Destiny seemed to be nervous. Destiny was nervous about what receipts Mel was going to come with. I don't think she knew exactly what Mel was going to say at all. So Mel ends up showing all these text messages of them texting each other from like the first or second week of September. So it shows that Mel actually was available to Destiny. There were even scenes whenever there were even messages in the thread where Mel had double texted Destiny. So then Destiny's like, oh, well, I don't even say chillaxing. Destiny's like, Mel says, here you go, right here. It's you saying chillaxing. Now, what the people are saying, this is where the argument is split, and this is where I ask for y'all help in the chat, especially a lot of those people who see things from Destiny's point of view. I want to know what y'all think. A lot of people are like, Mel, that's not what she meant. Texting is not the same as talking on the phone. You weren't available. And in my opinion, I think what Mel is saying is common language. You were available. Y'all's communication didn't just end abruptly. There was even a time in the text message thread where Mel asked her to go to lunch, and Destiny said that she wasn't available to go. So do y'all want to know what I think happened? I think there has been friction in their relationship from jump. Mel has had some hesitations about her ability to trust Destiny. Destiny has felt the shift in their relationship. Hence why at the end of last season, she was fighting for their relationship. She was talking about a problem that wasn't really expressed. At the all-white party for the telltale sign, she's like, I want you to be a part of my village, right? And to me, I know all of us was kind of like, where's this conversation coming from? Why are you talking about villages? she was talking about a problem without expressing thoroughly what the issue was. She probably noticed a shift in her relationship and she wanted to be reassured that Mel was in her corner and everything was all good, but she didn't want to say what the actual problem was. So I think she's experienced this shift. Mel has made herself available to Destiny, but not in the same way that she has done in the past. And because neither one of them are calling a thing, Destiny is saying that she's not available at all. That's whenever, in my mind, that she began to get closer to Tisha. And when she did, she probably was like, you know what? I'm going to keep the same energy as Mel. So their communication was blocked both ways. I don't think that it was a situation of Mel completely cutting her off. I think it was a situation of Mel making herself available in a different type of way that Destiny wasn't used to. Just my thoughts. I really don't know. So they end up really not coming to a resolution at all. It is really a bad argument. Seems like their friendship is over. Destiny says every friendship has a season. And as she gets up, she says, God bless. You know, I'm going to pray for you. God bless. A lot of people are just like, yeah, Destiny, take this getaway free card. Mel's not your friend, yada, yada, yada. So outside of that, y'all, in my mind, outside of that, I said in my mind because I was reading y'all's comments. So outside of that, y'all, Destiny went to Instagram. And when she did, she posted what she considered to be receipts. She posted a video from the reunion and she says to Mel, if I was lying, why would you tell Carlos what I said was accurate? In my mind, that's not a receipt. You want to know why it's not a receipt? Because Mel sat there and said that she allowed you to lie. So, I mean, that's the answer. The other thing is Destiny posted to her Instagram story, I guess some more text messages. I really don't know because they weren't there for a full 24 hours. So that even causes me to have more questions. Destiny, why weren't the receipts up on Instagram for even longer? What's the current status of y'all's relationship? What's the current status of you and Tisha's relationship? Because usually relationships that are built off of that mutual dislike or people who grow closer over things like that, it don't really last long, in my opinion. So it seems like a lot of people are agreeing with my point of view when it comes to Destiny and Mel. It seems like a lot of the people online were really just the outspoken ones. They really spoke about it the most. But I don't think that the receipt showed anything. So, you know, that's all I got for Love and Marriage Huntsville, y'all. Hurt. Stop it. Y'all hear him? Stop it. That's my dog. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got for Love and Marriage Huntsville. I missed y'all greatly. I missed y'all so much, but your girl is back. I's married now. And, you know, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be here to review these shows with y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I want to know what y'all think in the comments. So don't just comment in the live chat. Y'all comment down on this video. And if you are new here, if you enjoyed the conversation we had today, don't miss another one because we usually do this over Sunday brunch with our mimosas in hand, okay? But yeah, it's good seeing y'all. I hope y'all like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see y'all in the next video, which is Thursday, to talk about Married at First Sight. Bye.